Today, we're diving into some really powerful ideas from the Therapist's Handbook for Breaking the Loop. This is all about a method called NeuroFlex ACT, basically a science-backed roadmap for anyone feeling tangled up in anxiety, OCD, trauma, chronic pain, or just constant overthinking. It's about how to get unstuck, for real.
So let me just ask you, does this sound familiar? Do you ever feel like you're trapped? Like stuck in a loop of thoughts that just go around and around? Or maybe it's that low hum of anxiety that's always there in the background. It could be old fears or even chronic pain that just won't let go. If you've ever felt exhausted, overwhelmed, or just plain stuck, you're in the right place.
And here's the first thing you really need to hear. And it's so important. You are not broken, not at all. The reason you feel this way isn't because there's something wrong with you. It's because your brain, in its amazing and sometimes overzealous attempt to protect you, has gotten locked in survival mode. It's running old, outdated programs that now keep you from actually living your life. To really get this, let's use a metaphor from the handbook. Think of your brain a little bit like a computer. It's got an operating system, right? An inner code of habits and beliefs that's been built up over your entire life. The only thing is, this OS doesn't automatically update itself. That old software was designed for one primary mission, to keep you safe, and it got really, really good at that. But sometimes, its old programming gets stuck on repeat. It keeps running those old safety protocols over and over, even when the original threat is long gone. And that's what creates those loops we feel so trapped in. So let's meet the programmer behind this code. The handbook calls it your survival engineer. This is that part of your brain that is always on guard, always scanning for danger. It's well-meaning. Its only job is to protect you. The problem is, sometimes it gets a little too good at its job, becoming so protective that it sounds the alarm for everything. And the survival engineer rarely works alone. It's got a partner in crime, the thought dictator. You know this voice. It's that loud, bossy inner critic that issues commands and harsh judgments that feel like 100% truth. It screams things like, "Don't you dare do that," or "You're gonna fail." And when we're fused with that voice, we believe it, and it keeps us stuck in that cycle of fear and avoidance. Okay, so if that's the setup, what's the way out? Well, the handbook lays out a whole new path. It's a science-based approach to getting unstuck. And it's not about fighting your brain. It's about learning to work with it. It's called NeuroFlex ACT. It's this really cool blend of cutting-edge neuroscience, specifically neuroplasticity, which is just your brain's amazing ability to change, and the tools from acceptance and commitment therapy, or what we call ACT therapy. The whole goal is to build what's called psychological flexibility, which helps you rewire those old patterns and start living a life that's actually guided by your values.
This is the roadmap for the whole process. It's the NeuroFlex ACT Rewiring Compass. Just think of it as your personal guide for this journey. It maps out 6 absolutely essential skills that help you navigate all of life's ups and downs with more freedom and help you move towards what matters to you, even when things get tough.
So what are these skills? Well, it all starts with just noticing your patterns, with curiosity instead of judgment. Then you learn to upgrade your perspective, to see your thoughts as just thoughts, not commands you have to obey. From there, you reclaim the driver's seat by focusing on what you can control. Then you start taking small steps toward what matters, writing a new story based on your values, not your fears. And finally, you learn to live outside the box of those old, rigid survival rules. Now, this might all sound good in theory, but how does this change actually happen in the brain? This is where the science is just so incredibly hopeful. The entire approach is built on one of the most exciting discoveries ever. Your brain can change. It can literally rewire itself at any age. And the basic rule is really simple. You've probably heard this before. Neurons that fire together, wire together. All this means is that every time you think a thought or do an action, you are physically strengthening the connection between the brain cells involved. Repetition literally builds your brain. Here's a great way to picture it. Think of your brain like a dense forest. Your old habits, like that go-to anxiety loop, are like superhighways. They're paved, they're easy, they're fast. Now, the work here isn't to try and blow up the old highway. That's exhausting. Instead, you just start forging a new trail. At first, it's going to be slow going, maybe a little awkward, but with practice, that little trail becomes a path, and that path becomes a road. You're building new neural pathways. Eventually, that new road becomes your default. So how long does this take? Of course, everyone's journey is different, but the research, the handbook, and tons of clinical experience all point to about 12 to 20 weeks of consistent practice.
That seems to be a realistic time frame to really form and lock in these new, lasting neural habits. It's not a magic pill, but it is a real, sustainable process of change. Okay, let's bring this all home. If there is one single thing you take away from our time together, please let it be this. The struggles you face, they are not signs that you are broken. They are signs that you are patterned. And the beautiful, powerful, incredible promise of all this science is that patterns can be rewired. What was learned can be unlearned. The very same brain that built those old protective loops has everything it needs to build new pathways of purpose and freedom.
And look, this isn't about just slapping on a happy face or forcing yourself to think positive. This is a real, grounded process. It's about learning to work with your brain's natural, built-in ability to change and gently guiding yourself toward a life that just feels more you.
So let's end with this final thought. Your brain is not broken. You are not a problem that needs to be fixed. You are simply becoming. You're in a process of growth, learning how to team up with your own mind to create the life you really, truly want to live.
So the question the handbook leaves us with isn't, can I change? It's more like, if I wasn't so stuck in this loop, who would I choose to become? And finally, just a quick but very important disclaimer. All the content we've talked about today is for educational purposes only. It isn't a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation with a healthcare professional. Please always talk to your doctor or a qualified health provider if you have any questions about a medical condition. Thanks so much for joining me.